La di da da da. Start streaming, it says. We're streaming. We're big. We're bad. And we're back. I don't know if I'm that big. What am I? I'm 6 foot and a bit. Does that make me big? How are you? Hope you're all doing marvellously well. It is 10:30. Oh, it just turned 10:31. Hello. Look. So hello Ron, hello Clint, hello David, hello Jason, Sergio, hey Cohen. Is that, am I pronouncing your name right? That's what a fantastic name. Cohen van der Berg. That is the coolest name ever. Tom Sanderlands, Doug, Adam, Devon, hello. Sergio, Mike, Lalo W, Sir Egbert, how are you? Spectrum 44, Tom C, Ken, Raymond, Ben, David, Phil, Mark, Tom, hello, how are you all? It's good. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Now, last week was a little hectic, so for the Academy members out there, one must apologise. We didn't get to do our live stream that we've been doing every Fridays. We had intended to, but we flew to Portland, Maine. What was it? We left Thursday morning and we arrived Thursday night at about 10:30 we landed, because to get to Portland from LA in Maine you have to fly to a city, then sit in an airport for 2 or 3 hours and then fly again. So it was like a 9-hour flight travel time, but with a 3-hour time difference. So hello Mike there in Big Bear. So then getting back, well, and then we worked all day Friday, and we were with the rather wonderful Adam Ayan and, of course, the rather marvelous Bob Ludwig. So it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed it. Hello, JP Winter. Hello, Monty. Hello, Blue Way Dave. Enrique, Adam, Ray, Josh Dean, Mark Becker. How are you? Frederick, Devon, Tom again. Another Tom. So anyway, so I really apologize because we ended up getting up early on Friday morning and realizing that we were, you're in the Admirals Club. Nice. So we were basically 3 hours late than we normally would be, and we had to start at 10, so we were leaving the hotel a little bit after 9. So basically it just wouldn't have worked. It would have been a 6 a.m. stream or something like that. So I apologize. Anyway, but we're big, we're bad, and we're back, and we're doing another live stream now. Thank you. Oh, yes, please hit that thumbs up button. That would be fantastic. Give us the good old like. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe, because we have lots of rather wonderful things. I don't know what we're going to do for a giveaway today. I think we should probably do Academy... I think we'll do an Academy. Oh, you know what? Hopefully Matt's watching. Can you make sure he's watching? I think we should give away a copy of the new course. We have a new course. So we'll do 3 copies of a new course. Check it out. Matt is going to put, it's the new Bob Horn course, which is fantastic. So we'll give away 3 copies of the Bob Horn course. And the last one, we're also going to give away a year's membership to the Academy. And if you're already a member of the Academy, you get an extra year. Or you can choose another free course, whatever you want to do. So 3 chances to win Bob Horn's new course, which is fantastic. And then on the last one, we'll give away we do have an SSL mixer, but we're mixing entirely in the box using Blue Lola headphones, just to prove you can do it. And we're using SonarWorks for monitoring, but you're not hearing the SonarWorks. Because that would be silly, wouldn't it? If you heard what's done for my headphones, it wouldn't make sense to you. Hello, Emily. Hello, Owen. Hello, Bjorn. Hello, Pablo. Hello, Chris. Brandon. Will, how are you? And Robert Glenn, how are you? What a wonderful crowd we have here. This is rather special. Clint. All right. I'm going to listen to this. This is a song by the wonderful Alex Calise. Thank you, Terry. I'm glad you're going to enjoy the giveaways. Matt will put a link to that course for you. Let's have a listen. This is Alex Calise. It's from an album I did with her a couple of years ago. The song is called End of the World. Last night, Eric and I were going through songs to choose. Yeah, Blue Lolas. And we were going through to choose what to do, and I really, really like this song. I really do. This is completely, as you can see, not even panned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen, and I'm probably going to do some quick volume adjustment as we go. But this is a lot of fun, this track. I did quite a lot of programming on it, as you can see, as well as a lot of guitar stuff. It's a lot of fun. I really, really like this song. I think you'll enjoy it. It was a lot of fun to play guitar on, which, as you know, and look, there is the course there, the Bob Horn mixing course. So if you don't win it, buy it, because it's phenomenal. Bob is amazing. Here we go.
Saying my prayers, thinking of the things I would have done, yeah, I could have done, should have done. What a trip it's been, shame it's got in. Won't you hold my hand while we run for cover? Last kiss on my lips couldn't be sweeter. Been fun, the party over. I've learned a thing or two. Now I'll watch the end of the world with you. The end of the world with you. Guess this is goodbye. Wish I could buy time. Wouldn't that be nice? I spend one hand and wishing the other. Better brace yourself. It's gonna hurt like hell. Did this to ourselves. Too little, too late now. Last kiss on my lips couldn't be sweeter. Been fun, the party is over.
All right. So I did a lot of panning there quickly as we went along. Obvious stuff like panning the guitars left and right. This one is going to take some mixing. I mean, sometimes we pull up stuff and it's pretty much ready to go. There's a lot of balance information here. I did did a lot of really fun overdubs. It's got my live drum kit on it. I'm going to just take all of those elements so you can hear it. Here's all the live elements here. So let's create a group. We're going to call it Live Drums. So this is just a live drum so you can hear it. So again, this is the kit in the other room. I can't remember who played this. It may have been me. It sounds like me playing drums because it's really rudimentary. Yep, so basically really, really rudimentary drum part, but very pop, very simple. You heard that massive explosion. Those of you that have downloaded my sample library or have got any of the other tracks will know it. It's huge. Did your speakers just blow up? That's basically a reverse kick and a reverse cymbal. What I did is I reversed it, put a ton of reverb on it, and then flipped it back around so it has kind of a. No, we're going to do multiple prizes for the so we're going to do 3 prizes, and on the first prize is going to be all 3 prizes are going to be the Bob Horn, brand new Bob Horn course. But on the very last prize, we're also going to throw in a year's membership. All right, so it's a huge explosion. It's already massively too loud, so we'll bring it down. Then I've got a couple of cymbals I did. Little one there and a little anyway, so we'll bring that down. So that's the live drums. So give it another listen, just the live drums. Yeah, just like a little drum kit in there, rudimentary. Like I say, I think it's me, which is why it's so dumb. You know, there's no like, it's if Matt had played it or Blair or somebody like that, it would have been a lot more, you know, a lot smarter. But a lot of the time, that's what I want. So then I've got 3 kick samples that I used as well, which we can blend. And we're going to do a really quick, simple overview of the song. So let's throw those in, turn them down. That's great. Okay, public service announcement apparently is, do you have fresh coffee and tea? That's a good idea. Eric, you want to put some coffee on? Yeah. He said yes. Ooh, the man from Del Monte say yes. All right. So that's no, this isn't CLO. This isn't Cleo. No, this artist is called Alex Calise. Anyway, so now what we're going to do is make a little group of the snare samples here that we had and see if we can blend those to taste. So bringing them down considerably and start blending them in. Eric is definitely not the T-boy. Don't tell him that. He's just making coffee. Nice. Now, I've kept this one separate because it's a different kind of sample. It's a D28, something I made a long time ago. I think I made it when I was working with Jet doing pre-production. Yeah, don't tell him. Don't call him a T-boy. So look, quick reblending of the drums. What's interesting is like, everything else, except for the samples, is at 0. Look at that. Right across there. Everything's at 0. So I just blended in that kick and snare sample. It really sometimes is that easy. I'm not overthinking it. I'm going to do some more stuff to it, but I want to quickly get through the song and make sure that we have a blend to listen to. Matt is texting me again. What does Matt say? Okay, great. And the bass. It's great. Now, you'll see there's 3 bass inputs, but they're actually only 2. I doubled the mic because I've already did that before. This is one I prepared earlier. No, this is, that's again for the UK people. This is one I prepared earlier. But what I did by doubling that last one is have it there just so we can put a Sans amp on it. So I'm going to call that, strangely enough, bass. Let's have a listen. Cool. Acoustics, left and right. So that is a Nashville acoustic. Can you hear that voicing? Let's just have it on its own. Here's the Nashvilles. And let's add in the others, which will be regular voicing. Yeah, on the bass, I'm deliberately doing like a boom, 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 boom. I'm just like almost just, I don't know, like a McCartney kind of like playing with a pick. Now, those aren't high voicings. That is actually a Nashville tuning. So it's a high strung. When Eric gets back, I'll get him to grab that so he can see it. The mic on the acoustic is LCT 340. Sometimes I use the 140. Those are fairly inexpensive Lewitt mics, pencil condensers. Let's add in some electrics. Cool. Now we got some key stuff. Yes, there will definitely be a Feedback Friday this week. You must have missed the beginning, Alexi. Yeah, we were traveling and we were fully intending to do one from the hotel until we realized it was going to be 6 a.m. that we'd have to do it at. I think that's the first ever Feedback Friday we've missed in 2 years now. Thanks, Sergio. I'm glad you enjoyed the keys. Yeah, what we did on this one is and it's interesting because the first mix I did with this, I did through the console. We're going to mix this in the box. And when I heard it and we were listening to all the songs that we could choose for today, and I was thinking to myself, these would be good to choose songs that we can also do in the Academy. And I think this one would be a great one for the Academy. And so what I decided was I wanted something that I could mix differently. So look, here's the original mix. The guitars are all recorded with the 57. Let's get rid of that stuff. So I like that a lot, but I felt like I could give it a little bit more space. I really like the dangerous, weird guitar, which is this one here. No, it's Women in Chains. I only wish. No, this is Alex Calise. Alex Calise. So there's a lot of danger in here. I like this song. Here's the second verse, electric. Exactly, Martin's saying could it use a ton of reverb. That is one of the approaches. You could go completely like shoegazer on this song. And I think when I was talking to Alex when we first met and talked about the songs, I was sort of seeing her as being like this kind of dark, almost Cure kind of thing, little gothic, you know, and that's definitely where we took it. But now I'm listening to this song a couple of years later and I'm thinking to myself, I want to mix this without paying attention to what I did before and see what I come up with. So I'm very excited. Okay, the vocal I think is incredibly dynamic. I don't remember the mic. I was asked earlier, but you can see it's pretty dynamic.
Won't you hold my hand while we run for cover? Last kiss on my lips couldn't be sweeter. Been fun, the party is over. I've learned a thing or two. Now I'll watch the end. Been fun, the party is over. I've learned a thing or two. Now I'll watch the end of the world.
Cool. So if you hear that vocal there, it's like super dynamic.
Been fun, the party is over.
Yeah, Eric didn't get us to Nashville. I'll show you that guitar in a minute and we'll go through it. I do have a bunch of videos on this. There's one called Layering and Acoustics, which is really, really good.
Been fun, the party is over.
So there's a bit of 600 in a voice there. It wasn't LA2A. I think it was definitely actually the 165 into 1176.
Last kiss on my lips couldn't be sweeter.
No, it's definitely not a 57. It's definitely a large diaphragm condenser, and I like it, but she's a little nasal sounding, just a little bit, and that's not unusual, you know. I would first thing I would probably do is just come in and just pull out before we did anything. You know, but what's great about what we have here is we have pretty much everything at our disposal. So what we could do is we could come in here and grab this.
Counting down from 10, I'm saying my prayers, thinking of the things I would have done, yeah, could have done, should have done. What a trip it's been, shame it's gotta end. Won't you hold my hand while we run for cover? Last kiss on my lips couldn't be sweeter.
Using the leap wing is pretty fun.
Counting down from 10, I'm saying my prayers, thinking of the things
Ooh, yeah, these definitely, I wouldn't say these vocals are recorded hot. I would say that's recorded pretty standard. I'm not sure. Are you printing like super? Sometimes I get mixes from people where I don't know there's any audio on it until I bring it up because they've reprinted so quiet. Yeah, I'm going to go for the leap wing here.
Counting down from 10, I'm saying my prayers, thinking of the things I would have done, yeah, could have done, should have done. What a trip it's been, shame it's gotta end. Won't you hold my hand while we run for cover?
Yeah, it's a little bit more intelligent than that. So, you know, what it's doing here is like I'm using, as you can see, I'm being more aggressive in the low mids than the lows. I don't need the lows anyway, but the low mids where I think we're hearing a lot of that. What this is, it's around about 800, so it's 800 between 800 and 160.
Counting down from 10, I'm saying my prayers, thinking of the things I would have done, yeah, could have done, should have done. What a trip it's been, shame it's gotta end. Won't you hold my hand?
I like what it did almost immediately. There's something about the leap wing which is very natural sounding. As you can see there, it's sort of, I did what looks like really drastic moves, but it didn't, it just took out some of that out of it. Oh, the breathiness was deliberate. I really actually like the over-the-top breathiness. I think it suits her.
Counting down from 10, I'm saying my prayers, thinking of the things I would have done, yeah, could have done, should have done, what a trip.
I'm not sure where you're hearing the noise floor, Coffee. I mean, if you've got super noisy tracks, just, you know, if it's big spaces, edit it out. Don't leave it in. Thank you. I got a cup of tea coming. Yay!
Counting down from 10, I'm saying my prayers, thinking of the things I would have done, yeah, could have done, should have done, what a trip it's been, shame it's gotta end. Counting down from 10, I'm saying my prayers, thinking of the things I would have done, yeah, could have done, should have done, what a trip it's been, shame it's gotta end.
Yeah, I like the breathiness. I'm not going to take it out to the last possible moment. I'm going to leave it in because I like it. I really, really do like it. Yeah, that took out a lot of the nasal stuff, and I wanted to use a dynamic EQ as opposed to using an EQ because I don't want to do something arbitrary. So anyway, that was fun. That's just one plugin. I wanted to show you that. So it's the only plugin we have on the whole mix at the moment. And then let's go and grab like an RVox.
Counting down from 10, I'm saying my prayers, thinking of the things I would have done, yeah, could have done, should have done, what a trip it's been, shame it's gotta end. Won't you hold my hand while we run for cover? Last kiss on my lips.
Yeah, exactly. As being pointed out there, you can always do the automation at the end and take stuff out. I'm not an app generation guy. That's why I'm always joking about. I'm not one of these people that always thinks that, you know, you have to find an app for every situation. Why is there not a plugin to do this? You know, if there's a couple of breaths that are really bothering me or P's that are really bothering me, I'll just automate them out. It will take literally 1 nanosecond. I'm not going to spend 20 minutes auditioning 57 plugins to do something that would take literally less than a second to do. So at the moment, and, you know, given the experiences, I know there's a couple of P's here, there's a couple of this, but I don't need to EQ them specifically. I'll just turn them down in the end.
Counting down from 10, I'm saying my prayers, thinking of the thing.
Yeah, I feel like the RVox was the right call here because we put the Dyne one on first. So we put the dynamic EQ on first. We ended up taking a lot of the lows out. The thing about the RVox is it's really good at giving it, you know, low mids. You can take it off, have a listen.
Counting down from 10, I'm saying my prayers, thinking of the thing.
It does a wonderful, wonderful thing. Now, what I will do, and I should have done, I will always put a de-esser on first before anything. So I'm going to go back and quickly do that. It doesn't do you any harm just to grab a de-esser, just a generic, in a default situation, just to control. So you're not like boosting and cutting, you know, excessive things straight from the get-go.
I'm saying my prayers, thinking of the things I would have done, yeah, could have done, should have done, what a
Not that the S's are that bad.
yeah, could have done, should have done, what a trip it's been, shame it's gotta end. Won't you hold my hand while we run for cover? Last kiss on my lips couldn't be sweeter. Been fun, the party is over. I've learned a thing or two. Now I'll watch the end of the world.
All right, there's a lot more I can do to the vocal, and I will. But I just wanted to get it, because it was overly dynamic, the reason why I went to it pretty early on, quickly balanced the drums, went to that. The reason why I went to it early on is because I wanted to make sure that, we have something that can listen. You know what I mean?
Counting down from 10, I'm saying my prayers, thinking of the things I would have done, yeah,
Chris has an axe to grind. He doesn't like breaths. We get you, Chris. Thank you.
Counting down from 10, I'm saying my prayers, thinking other things.
I did print a vocal reverb. So what I did is I printed that through hardware, and it has been snuck in lately, you know? It's been snuck in lately. We don't have to necessarily use it, but I do kind of like it. So what I did is I put the de-esser in first, just to get rid of some of that high, kind of aggressive high end. Before I do any EQs, because I feel like, I feel like I want to make sure that you're controlling it, because the last thing you want to do is boost and cut stuff, going into compression and EQ. If you haven't already controlled those S's, etc., you're going to really get a lot of pain if you start boosting the top end. So you'll notice that I pulled the Dyne one and the Arvox down and inserted it behind it, because I was, as you can see, controlling the low mids and the low ends, keeping the mids up, and especially the high frequency. So if I had not done that de-essing, you know what I mean, I would have been overdoing it. Now, just so you know, I actively encouraged the breaths on this. This is what I wanted. But if it's too much at the end, I will pull them down. But that's what I wanted from this. I felt like with Alex's voice, I wanted that sense of urgency. And if you got a if it was like da, 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 da. You know what I mean? I didn't want it to be all stunted. And yeah, we have somebody on here who doesn't like that, but that's fine. But, it's what I was going for. So if it's too much, I'll add, I'll do it at the end. And that's the way it goes for me quite a lot of the time. I try not to get too hung up on things. I want to hear an overall mix and make decisions that way, as opposed to getting into so much obsessiveness. Because if you get into so much little tiny detail, that's great, but you might find you have no mix. You just have a vocal that you have, you end up taking out all of the personality of it. Try to move as quickly as you can. You don't have to move quickly. Just try to move and sort of like take into account an overall thing. So let's have a quick listen to where we're at the moment, and then we'll do our first giveaway.
Counting down from 10, I'm saying my prayers, thinking other things I would have done, yeah, could have done, should have done. What a trip it's been. Shame it's gotta end. Won't you hold my hand while we run for cover? Last kiss on my lips couldn't be sweeter. Been fun, the party is over.
Great. So super rough. So that's like the rough mix. That's the rough mix. We got a quick balance together. We got through everything. There's somebody is pointing out there, I think it was Mojo's Army. Good, really good point. He says, I like the breasts for the most part. They're like ghost notes sometimes. That's where sometimes you have to be super, super careful. I've had people, and I'm sure you have too, or you're going to, say, hey, there's a snare drums late. Or there's a tom in the wrong place. And you're like, what are you talking about? And what it is it's like, there's a breath and it's like, and it's slightly out of time, and they think it's a stuttering snare. So that's correct. You have to be careful. If you are going to use breaths, they have to really sit well in the track. There's nothing worse than a short, completely out of time breath, because your artist may not hear it that way. They might hear something it just throws them, it takes them out of the groove. Okay, so let's do our first giveaway. This is to win Bob Horn's course. It's a brand new course that ProMix Academy just put out the other day, on Friday. If you haven't already got it, here's a chance to win it. Also, buy it if you haven't, because it's phenomenal, and Bob is amazing. He's won a couple of Grammys, God bless him, and he's just a sweet guy, and he's very talented and very, very helpful. Okay, so what do I want to know? Well, I don't want to talk about breaths. We've already done a lot of those. But we did talk about vocal microphones. Somebody asked me. I didn't remember what this was, because I had a couple of different large diaphragms. I did, of course, have a U47, a U48 to choose from. But I do know that we were experimenting with using the LCT 940 at the time. So it's possible it's the LCT 940, but it doesn't quite have the high-end response that I would expect from the LCT 940, which I think has a better a more detailed high end than pretty much any mic I've used. And the other thing with the LCT 940 is you can move it from full tube to FET. So it's possible I used it because this would have been at the time when I first got into it. And I like to do this thing where I would do the lead vocal on full tube on the LCT 940 and then do all the backgrounds on FET, and that separated them. But my gut and my heart tells me that I think this is actually the 47. And I may have used the, on the harmonies, may have used the LCT. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So my question is, what mic do you use? Let's find out about each other. What mic do you use? And I'd love to know. And it could be anything. And if you don't have a mic, if you don't have a mic, why would that be hard to believe it's a U47? So the if you don't have a mic, let us know. It doesn't sound anything like a 57. That would have a 3 to 5K lift. And there's one characteristic about this is we've got a lack of bit of high mids in this. A 57 would definitely have some grit up there. Okay, so so what was I going to say? The
Been fun, the party is over.
So what mic do you have? What do you like to use? CV12, NT1, SM58, 57, 440s. And Matt is going to choose somebody at random. So everybody can enter this. Every single person can enter this. 58, 550. Blue Spark, Aventone. You don't have a mic yet? Well, we're doing some new competitions coming up. There's going to be lots of chances to win mics. So make sure you stay. Oh, Dan has a Roswell Mini K47. We love those. SM7, great mics. SM7B, 103, Aventone CV12. If you don't have a mic, you can enter by saying, I don't have a mic. Mike, just type in what mic you use. U87, Black Edition, a Warm Audio 47. SM57, KLM 192, Altex. Wow, massive collection of mics. This is great.
Been fun, the party is over. Been fun, the party is over. I've learned a thing or two. Now I'll watch.
Cool. So there's a lot of low mids and thumpiness to this whole song. Sean says he doesn't have a mic yet, but he's learning. Some SE, some Rhodes, and Demetrius. Hello, Demetrius. Are you in Greece? Demetrius one. He has an NT2. So overall, I like the drum sound here. I think I want to build this song very, very differently to what we normally do. I try every time we do these live streams to just do something completely different. Yeah, I'll throw the bass in a moment, but at the moment I'm thinking drums. What I'm thinking, and I'm actually going to go with what I believe it was Martin's suggestion earlier, because I'm going to go dreamy. I'm going to smother the schnizzle out of this. So let's have a quick listen. No, Eric bought the EV666. He was very sneaky. While I was doing the interview, he bought it online. So let's do some schnizzle. So let's do something with this kick. Let's just go in here and do some heavy EQing. All I'm going to do, first of all, is just roll off some of the low lows. You know, so I'm going to go down to about about 20, 30. I'm going to go in and grab 60 here, do a bit of a boost, like that. The reason why I'm shelving it down here like 30 is because I'm boosting at about 60. It's pretty wide. Now I'm going to do a massive cut at about 350. So some really generic looking stuff here. See what's going on here. So I can't make this any bigger, this EQ. So for those of you who are on the phone, I apologize. But anyway, so let's have a listen to the kick now. There's a lot of unwanted ring in there that I don't like. Let's go in and come up to about here and just boost some high mids. Well, I'm gonna change this out for an REQ6 because I've got a horrible ring at about 80 and another one about 100-ish. So let's go in here and get some 80. Widen it just a bit. That's better, a little harder sounding. Let's go to about 110. Obviously, the other thing that's going to be beautiful about this is it will create some space. It'll create a bit of space for the bass guitar as well. You'll see I do that quite a lot. That's pretty drastic EQ. That's insane. It looks like a freaking mountain range. But it is. But the beauty is like I did in this instance use some kick samples against it. So see what we got the whole thing. Okay, so I'm going to group all of those together. Normally I would separate them out a little bit, but I'm going to group them all together because we're going to do some overall fun things. So now let's all bus to 1 and 2. We're going to go and do a completely crazy drum sound. So let's do kick, sub. So this is everything blended together for schnitz and schniggles. Okay. I'm also now, while I'm at it, I'm actually going to create a drum bus. I'm making 37 and 38 all the way down here. So now this is a stereo drum bus for the whole thing. So we'll make that 37, 38. We're not going to put any EQ or compression on the bus yet. We'll do that in a second. I want to give a little more point on it. So let's have a quick look, see what we've got. We don't have the SPL downloaded yet. That's unfortunate. So I won't be jumping in for that. But, well, first of all, let's just grab a generic EQ and do a little bit more shaping on the kick and everything. Again, I'm going to go in and just do some high passing just to focus the low end. So I'm keeping it. So I went about 2.5 and boosted some high there. I'm not going for full metal. I'm not going like 7K and above, you know? See, I'm being careful in this area here to kind of like not get too carried away when I'm boosting like the 60 and the lows down here to get the kick fat. Because this is where our bass guitar is going to live around here. So we need to be careful. Not a lot of people talk about this because I don't think they quite understand it yet. I think as the other channels will get used to it, they'll start talking about it more. But you've got to be careful. You don't want to do this massive boost down here because there's going to be no room for the kick. Now, I'm not going too crazy. I could get a little bit more aggressive on that, and I might in a whole mix, but I think we can sort of like have some fun with it. So that is just on that one element. Let's copy this down to the kick sub for the whole thing. Let's have a listen. All right, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? We're going to do this. We're going to grab the bass guitar and we're going to pull it all the way up here before we do anything else. And we're going to listen to the bass DI. I just went for this bloom, 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 like pick with my hand balanced on the bridge to go for this like super dumb kind of. Matt just posted the new Bob Horn course. Check it out. Okay, so the trick I'm about to do, you have seen me do 100 times, but I'm going to do it again. We're going to take the DI and we're going to make that the low end. So I'm just going to get an REQ here, good old-fashioned REQ, go down to about 200-ish. I'm actually going to high pass as well. I'm going to high pass like 50 or 60 because I'm about to do some boost afterwards. So I tend to high pass going into a boost so I can keep it more focused. All right, now let's copy this EQ down onto the mic and basically do the reverse. So now this is going to be at the 196 kind of area. And this is actually, you know, this can come up to, I don't know, 3, 4, 5K because we don't need any really super highs in it. Now let's listen to the bass mic. I'm going to stick a Sans amp on it. Here we go. But also, I'm going to use the EQ going into it. I'm going to double this EQ up that I used on the other amp. Cool. Now let's take those 3 elements and bust them together. So we're just building this song from the low end up at the moment. So we can bust those together. Let's take a random 143. We can keep it mono. We don't need this to be a stereo auxiliary. I get asked a lot by people why I choose stereo mono. Well, in this instance, it can stay mono. Okay. So we'll grab 43. Now, as you can tell, I'm still listening to the kick with it. Definitely don't think it's got enough crunch, too much crunch at all, because as soon as you stick in and this is just experience talking, as soon as you start sticking into guitars and stuff like that, all of that will disappear. Does it still have too much crunch? No, it doesn't. So you can't, this is the problem, and it's just experience will teach you. When you're listening in solo, you have to remember, as soon as you add other instruments, that stuff is going to be taken away. That's why you should try to move fast, because if I took your approach there and I was like, oh my God, this is too crunchy, and I made it go, then I would have no bite at all. You need that extra crunch in there because it's going to get soaked up by all of those guitars and everything else. All right. And if you're not sure and you're still learning, so just, go in and out of solo. I'm just doing it in solo more than I probably would, because I'm trying to show people, how this stuff works. All right. Now I'm going to do another general EQ on the bus of those three elements stuck together. Again, I'm going to go down, let's say, to about 40 and do some high passing. Before I do anything, I'll just leave it like that. And then I'm going to grab, you guessed it, for those of you who know me well, I'm going to grab the R bass, which defaults to 80. Jay Baumgardner does a top-down mix. That's interesting, right? Every mixer will mix through maybe an SSL and maybe some EQ, lightly tapping it, but they won't do what the YouTubers try to encourage you to do, which is like stick a whole bunch of stuff on your master bus and mix into it. And that is where we're trying to discourage. I have noticed that somebody recently changed their whole position on it and showed how to do it differently. And do it properly. So that's a refreshing thing. But one of the problems is that people are taking it too literally, and they're sticking ozone and all kinds of stuff on their bus, and they're mixing into it. And it's easy to get these things to sound good, but they're never going to sound great. So please don't mistake, because you've seen somebody put like a 2 dB on a SSL master bus. And a little bit of like boom and fizz, like a bit of 60 and a bit of 10 or 12K. We all do it. That's not the same as the top-down mixing that people are talking about. That's a whole different principle. Okay, so back here. There's almost not enough grit anymore. I mean, I'm liking that. I'm not quite loving it yet. Not quite loving it. But I think maybe if I shape it a little bit more here, I think what I tend to find I like to hear in bass and stuff is like, a bit of like 750, 850 maybe, maybe some 1 or 1.5. Let's take some 1.5 here. That's pretty wide, but I like that. So maybe let's go with like about 100 here and do a light boost in here. You'll notice we haven't done diddly squat in the way of compression. What I might do is do something super, super generic, which would be probably catching just like an 1176, standard comes free with Pro Tools. And you could put those on individual elements as well, especially the DI, which is very dynamic. So if we copy one across there. Like, that's okay. That's okay. That isn't like, I think I'm going to tweak it a little bit more, but I want to move quickly. I want to make decisions. I might get more aggressive with it after than that. But anyway, so let's go in now and grab some, let's just sum the snares together for the time being, and we'll work on our blend. We're gonna move quickly, because the reason why you're seeing I'm going to do this, you're going to see in a minute. I'm gonna have some silly fun with this. So let's grab 3 and 4. Make this our snare sub. Very, very dull sounding snare. And that was basically, quite frankly, because the head was old. So let's go in and let's grab something. Why don't we grab something fun? Like, what we could do is get like a Pultec a clone or something. Oh, I see some SPL there. Why was that SPL not? That's interesting. Okay, so let's go in and grab something fun, like a Pultec here. There's just not much to grab. So there's not much to grab. It's a very ringy snare. Yeah, I don't need any more 2K. We got so much and we got so much mids in there. What I really need is like a 7 kind of area and above. So all I'm going to do quickly is just grab an REQ again, because it's a good old favorite of mine. I'm going to go in generically and do this, and the difference is going to be massive. I mean, that's already 100 times better. So I left the Pultec on, just for the heck of it. It's not a bad idea, screaming at anonymity, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these elements here, because we're moving fast here, pull them all together. Because it's got the ambience on that snare sample there. Let's make sure that that's being bussed to the same bus. You're going to see why in a second. We're going to have some fun with this. Moving quickly here, because I want to have a bit more fun. Oh, it's 11:30. So, second giveaway. This is for Bob Horn's mixing course, which is absolutely phenomenal course. So, what is your favorite EQ? What is your favorite EQ? What is your favorite EQ? Let us know. What do you like? And this is to win. This could be anything. It could be a stock EQ. It could be a third-party one. What is your go-to EQ? What is it? Please let us know. Oh, and if you don't have a favorite EQ, you can still win. This is not a competition in the respect of like who gets the right EQ. You know what I mean? And stick around for the very last one. Oh, if you haven't already, please hit that like button and share it. Share the video. Let everybody know. This is really fantastic. So yeah, please hit the like button. We have some really good videos coming up very soon, so please stick around for that. Where is it? I'm trying to find the live video. I don't see the live video. There it is. So we have nearly 400 people watching, and we have... How many likes do we have? We have 191. So please hit that like button. Let's try to get us up to 400. So next up, we're going to listen to the toms. I'm going to create another... I'm going to create a group just for the toms. So let's go to our next pair, which would be 5 and 6. So create a subgroup, stereo subgroup for that. Please hit the like button to win. That helps as well. So please hit the like. So Tom sub. Okie dokie. I actually kind of like those toms. Must have been a day where I had them tuned very nicely. I like it. I might try an SSL EQ on this bus. I think that's not a bad idea. I'm going to go in. I might grab that in a second. I'm going to go in and do some generic EQing. And you probably know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little bit of high passing at about 60, 70. Get it out of the way of the kick drum. I don't need it to be as low down there. Going to get some 350 and pull it out. Maybe bring up a little high mids here for some articulation. And then maybe a little boost. I don't know. Let's go 100 again. And just do a little boost in here just to control that. I don't want to go crazy. I'm not trying to get in the territory of the bass guitar. I'm actually going to copy that down to the rack. And then what about if we just put it on the whole thing? Now this is all, that's the same 3 EQs. I actually like that already. Have you noticed something? I haven't put any reverb on anything. What's he thinking? What is this crazy man thinking? Okay, cool. So now that is going to go to 37 and 38. That's going to our drum bus. I didn't do any reverb. All I did was put on a bit of EQ on that. Nothing else. Okay. Now the hat is just going to go directly to the drum sub. Doesn't need to be bus. I don't think I'm going to bus it through anything. Same thing with the overheads. So let's take those overheads, go straight to 37, 38, and then I copy that EQ down. I'm going to go and get rid of, maybe make that a bit more gentle, get some low mids. Don't need any high boost. Just kind of shelve it. Cool. All right, let's come out of that. Let's take all of our elements that we have done very, very quickly. That's what we just built in 20 minutes. That's our drum mix. It's come from a pretty great way. Now, Oh, Neff, don't tell me to talk about that band. You know I want to. So what have we done? We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Got 20 plugins on the drums, the whole drum kit. Okay, that's the drum kit. I like it. Oh, no, that's not 20 plugins on the drum kit. What am I talking about? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those are on the bass. 8, 9. So we actually have, we actually have 11 plugins on the drum kit. All completely mixed in the box, no external stuff, nothing on the mix bus yet. So I'm pretty happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a gentle compressor for this. Usually I go for something like one of the Fairchild emulations, is kind of nice. Obviously it's far too aggressive, so we'll bring it down. I don't know, we'll take it down to about here. Go to the end, see if I'm hitting it a little harder. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like it. Okay, so let's do a little bit of an EQ, just a shade, just to the overall thing. Maybe grab a 4 here. So we'll go in and go again to like super, super lows. We don't need that. Pull out a little tiny bit of 350 generically. I don't need to do any high-end boost at the moment. I'll leave it as it is. Get a little bit of 60. This is just tiny bits and pieces, like just a little, like, you know, just a little 60 about here. You know, and what I would normally do, to be honest, what I'd probably do with this is just grab an L2. It's probably going to be super aggressive at the moment. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate this bus. So I'm duplicating the drum bus, and you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have some fun with it. And make it a parallel one. So I mean, listen to the energy it's bringing in, even though it's super quiet. Add it to the main drum bus. All right, now I'm going to get really silly. Now I'm going to create, so we're going to call that one we just called parallel. Didn't do a huge amount. It wasn't like magic. It wasn't like, you know, I've seen like 20-minute videos on how to create a drum parallel bus. I mean, look at that. All I did was take the same thing and just annihilate it a little harder and brought it up underneath. It really was as simple as that. It really was. It's not a 20-minute video. So all I did was just annihilate it, bring it up underneath. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that bus, not because of the plugins. I actually don't need those plugins on initially. Maybe if at all, but for this reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm not even going to do anything clever. I'm not even going to do anything clever whatsoever. What I might do initially is maybe do a little You'll see what I'm going to do. Grab an EQ and just control the low end, high pass it here, bring a little bit of lows out, sort of gently, something like this. Okay, so I've now got a drum bus going through this. So like the kick's been sort of, the low end's been removed quite a lot. I don't want too much low end going on. Why don't I want too much low end going on in this drum bus? Well, because I'm busting the whole freaking kit. And I'm going to do this. And I'm going to go generic. I'm going to go generic reverb. All right, that's a little, I like that. It's a little too aggressive on the high end for me at the moment. So I'm actually going to put a de-esser on it at first. So now I'm putting a de-esser even before the EQ. So instead of like doing what I normally would do, which was have really controlled reverb on the snare, really controlled reverb on the kick, really controlled reverb on the toms, that's what I normally would do. Now I'm just doing it over the whole freaking mix. I'm putting it on the whole drum mix. And I went to a bog standard, comes free with Pro Tools. And I might even turn it up. This was completely tracked at my studio, senor, yes. Yeah, I'm going for a real reverb out version of this.
Been fun, the party is over. I've learned a thing or two. Now I'll watch the end of the world with you. The end of the world with you. Been fun, the party is over. I've learned a thing or two. Now I'll watch the end of the world with you. The end of the world with you. Been fun, the party is over. I've learned a thing or two. Now I'll watch.
Those pedals, what I used on that's all Carl Martin. I use a combination of mainly Carl Martin pedals. I'm sorry I haven't featured them in a while. That's a bit unfair because they get used every day. I'll tell you a story. I once had a phone call from Eddie Van Halen, and I mean this sincerely, not a name drop. It is a name drop, but I'm just being honest. And he asked me about the guitar sounds on a record I had done, and I told him they were the Carl Martin pedals. Carl Martin make great pedals. We don't talk about them enough, but they're really good. They've been really generous with us. We've done some giveaways, but we use their pedals a lot. Carl Martin, 57s, been using a lot of the Tone Tubby, cabs, and I think this is old. This song's 2 years ago, so that would have been the Pacifica. That would have been my red Pacifica.
Been fun, the party is over. I've learned.
And somebody's saying it's too much reverb. Now, you may not have watched it from the beginning. So what we decided to do was to try and do this differently. differently to the way we'd already mixed it. This song has been mixed before. Yeah, Carl Martin is a Danish company. So we use this. It's pretty much, it's pretty much like, I'd already had a drier version. So what I wanted to do here was go for it and really, really make this super, make this super, like ambient and like, textural, just give it a feel. I've already got a drier mix. I use the boost kick pedal all the time. It's amazing. Oh no, I got to tell you a funny story. So I was meeting with Marc Broussard. And he came over to like talk to me and Phil about working with him. It's about 4 years ago. So we're sitting on the couch. He's sitting on the couch. I'm sitting in there. And Jack Douglas, he'd been here about 5 minutes. Jack Douglas comes by. So I'm meeting with an artist. So Jack Douglas just drops by and it's like, oh, this is Jack Douglas. And he's like, oh, okay, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, and obviously he leaves and Marc Broussard's like, that was Jack Douglas. I was like, yeah. He goes, he recorded John Lennon. I was like, yeah. And Aerosmith. I was like, yeah. And then the phone rang and it was Eddie asking about guitar sounds. It was like one of those days that never really happens, but it was just pretty funny. I mean, if you want to swing an artist, oh, Mark's great. I did 4 songs with him. There's a song called Another Day that I wrote with him. And there's a song called Perfect to Me, which is about my wife, which you've heard me cover myself. I mean, to be honest, I like this already. Sometimes, like, I rarely do what we just did, which is smother the whole drum kit in Verb. But God, it works well for this. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button. I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. There's nearly 400 people watching. And how many likes do we have? He says, looking at his phone, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I'm going to listen from the top.
Should have done, what a trip it's been. Shame it's gotta end.
I love that you described this as sugar. What do you call it? Sugar rush pop. Cool. So I'm going to get. We're going to do one last giveaway in a couple of minutes, but I'm just going to do a couple of quick schnizzles. So I'm going to take this electrics here and bust them together. Did I ask Eddie about his sound? Actually, I did get to go over to his house and hang out in his studio. This was a couple of years ago, and it was pretty amazing. And he just reminds me, you know, and I mean this in a really great sense, Eddie Van Halen and Joe Perry are very similar guys, and Jeff Beck. I've met them all, and all of them obviously worked with Joe on numerous occasions, and they love guitars. They love music and they love guitars. It's absolutely what. Thank you for the police thing. Yeah. So guitar sub. I'm going to call this guitar sub. I should probably call it chorus guitar sub but it's too late. All right. So what I'm going to do is just do a couple of really dumb things. We'll grab it again, just generic EQ. Michael says I'll be there in 5 minutes. on the chat. Hey, Michael. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to duplicate that exactly as it is, and I'm going to use. So I use the same EQ, and then I'm going to stick. Yeah, you guessed it, a reverb across it. But two things. First of all, I'm going to use a shorter reverb, but then I'm going to pan the reverb's opposite. So it's 100%. So now, what does that mean? It means that, see, here's the guitar bus above, left and right, and then here's the reverbs the other way. So now the reverb of each guitar is going to be in the opposite speaker. It'll make it so much bigger. I love it. I mean, I am going for sort of an 80s thing, but not an 80s metal, like an 80s retro, kind of darker thing. I mean, that's what we're deliberately doing with this mix.
On my lips, couldn't be sweeter. Been fun, the party is over. I've learned a thing or two. Now I'll watch the end of the world.
Eric, will you do me a favor? Can you grab the Carl Martin, the echo tone? This is on every single song we've ever recorded on electric guitar here. It's plugged in. It's on every guitar, even if it's super quiet. Just because, and the kick boost as well. So if it's still plugged in, that's fine. If you can bring it over, just to prove it's still plugged in. It's a little dusty. Okay. So you're asking about pedals. This is on every single electric guitar I've ever recorded. It's called a Carl Martin Echo Tone. You can tap the tempo here. The tone control is fantastic, so you can make the delays super dark. Every electric guitar ever, and I used it a lot on the. In fact, it's all over the last Aerosmith record. It just stayed in the chain. It was really fantastic. And then this, as somebody else was mentioning, is a secret weapon going into any amp. It's the boost kick. Because it's an EQ-able, gain control going into the front of your amp. It's really, really good on a Marshall. Absolutely amazing. Two secret weapons. So you ask me about guitar sounds, those are the two. Other pedals come and go. We do really like the, what's it called, the overdrive?
The DDR? ODR?
Yeah, can you pass it to me? This is on a lot of records. The ODR, the Nobles. I got the tip on this from Tim Pierce, the Nobles. It was in his rack of pedals. He's always using it. So this is the Nobles ODR1. This is probably the third most used pedal we have. So it's between those three pedals. Echo tone on everything, clean, dirty, whatever, slightly in there. It just, it's really fantastic. Now, this is a bass guitar. But it's going through a guitar amp. Hey, here's Michael. Hey. Still on the live stream. Almost done. 4 minutes away. Well, you know that because you were just texting.
Yes, yeah.
David, you didn't want to shave for today, or you wanted to have like the bearded view? Yes, to answer your question, it is David from Word Day Release, and also Michael from In the Mix. Come, gentlemen. See if we can. All right, we're going to go. Look.
Around here.
How do I, Eric? Oh, hey! Look at that.
Stream.
Look at that. The whole world. Thank you, Rocco. I'm glad you enjoyed the mix. Yay! All right. So this is going to be our last giveaway. So this is for a year's membership to the Academy, and also you get Bob Horn's mixing course. Free. So what do we want to know? We've got 2 more minutes. Yes, we are working together. Don't. In the studio on time. Glenn's going to be green with envy. I know, they were all on time.
Really?
Look at that. So we're going to have this multi-track is going to appear in the Academy, by the way. I think we have, what was the one we promised? Oh, Andy Palmer's going to go in next month. This will go in the month after. So you're going to get these as well. Okay, so if you haven't already joined the Academy, go and join it. You'll get to mix these tracks, and you'll get to like have other people, talk about it together. So what do we want to know? We've done. I've always asked DAWs. What do you use? If you're on a computer, what do you have? Are you Apples? Are you PCs? Are you a combination? Are you working on an iPad, an iPhone, an Android? What are you recording? What's the actual device you use? Are you on a tape machine? Do you use a tape machine? Do you have a 4-track? Do you have a cassette recorder? You're welcome. So the question is, so please, first of all, yes, please, as Sean is saying, please like and share, and please like and share, and let me know, what are you recording on? So Pro Tools on an iMac, Mac Mini, and this is to win not only the Bob Horn course, but also to win a year's membership. And you have 1 minute to try. Let us know, everybody here, and hit that like button, pretty please. Pretty please with bells on top. And look, David's videoing. He's taking pictures of himself. Apples, Windows, Apple, Windows. Cubase on a Mac, Cubase, Mac, Windows. I guess going too fast, but I'm trying to catch up with it. Mac Mini, slow PC Reaper, Cubase, Mac Pro, good old Impact, Windows, Logic, PreSonus iMac, Apple, Steam Power. Nicely done, Valium. Steam Power. I thought we had a donkey in the back garden and a wheel. That's what we have. Well, it's Eric. Eric's outside on a bicycle like this, powering the whole studio. In fact, as you were going down, if you could go back out there and do that, it'd be great. Mac Mini, Reaper, Studio One, Logic, Mac Pro, Linux, so presumably on a PC. Windows. It's kind of split. There's a lot more Mac people than I thought. Strangely enough, I was sort of under this impression that, because Windows people are very, very vocal in forums, So I always assumed that everybody was on Windows and hardly anybody was on Apple's, that it was only like there's always this sort of idea that it's an echelon of people on Apple and it was sort of elitist. But I would say it's like 50-50. Atari, nice, Clay. Tascam. It seems like it's 50-50. Just good to see. Logic with Mac Mini, PC, Windows 7, says Sean. He's representing. More Macs. Stone and Chisel, says Chris. And, that's a great name. Maciej Ivanich. Just won a year's membership and the mixing, the Bob Horn mixing. Fantastic. What do I use? I'm on an old cheese grater Mac. I'm old school, eh? All right. Anyway, let's create some rock and roll history next time. Very exciting. See you all again very soon. See you on Thursday. It's been marvelous. I've been Warren. You've been you, and we'll talk to you all again very, very, very soon. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing.